Hi, this is John Hooper with another episode of our weekly wine and food pairing show, Uncorked. And for this week, we're going to be pairing a 2012 Albarino from the Rías Baixas region in Spain with a fresh cheese from Italy made with buffalo milk called Fiore di Bufala. Finding a cheese like this made with buffalo's milk is relatively unusual. What's different about buffalo milk is that it has a higher fat content, which makes it a little bit richer than most of the milks usually used for cheeses. Also, it commonly has a little bit of a tanginess or grassiness that is somewhat similar to what you find in goat's milk cheeses. So you end up getting cheeses that are both really interesting and delicious. This one in particular does a great job combining the kind of lighter and fresher character of a young cheese, but also has that same denser, rich creaminess that you get with the buffalo milk. Also, you get a little bit of kind of an herbal character, a slight tang, and also a hint of smokiness that makes it really interesting and delicious. So, what kind of wine do we want to pair with this cheese? I think the important concepts to remember when trying to match a cheese like this is obviously you want to have flavors within your wine that complement the cheese. But also you want to pick a wine that has a texture and intensity that also matches it. Because with a cheese like this that is pretty mild and also has that fresh characteristics, we want to find a wine that can match that. We don't want a wine that's going to overwhelm it. We don't want a wine that has too many aged characteristics, otherwise it just wouldn't be a match. So there are a lot of different ways that you can go in this situation, but one that I think is great right now is to go with an Albarino. Albarino is a grape that is most commonly found in Spain. Usually it produces wines that are fresh, they're zesty, and they're great in the spring and the summertime. This particular wine is a classic representation of Spanish Albarino. This one in particular was made in 2012 by a producer named Santiago Ruiz, and it came from the Rías Baixas region, which is in the northwestern corner of Spain. This wine is pale straw with some light green hues on the nose. It's really fresh. You get a lot of fresh pear, fresh flowers, things like honeysuckle, and a bit of an herbal note that reminds me of sage. On the palate, it's really clean, it's bright, it has medium plus acidity, and this really potent minerality that's almost like licking a stone, in a good way. It's medium in its weight and in its intensity, but it's really persistent. So you get this beautiful, clean wine that is great at working with things like seafood, or in our case, a fresh cheese. So for this cheese plate, we decided to add some crostini, which provide a nice crunch to contrast the softness of the cheese, and some Marcona almonds, which are a nice flavor complement to the wine in that the nuttiness works really well with that honeysuckle component that we were talking about earlier. So to recap, this week we paired the Fiore di Bufala fresh buffalo milk cheese from Italy with an Albarino made in 2012 by Santiago Ruiz from Rías Baixas in Spain. Thanks for watching this episode, and I'll see you next week.